The Game of Thrones TV show very closely follows George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire novels, but there are still tons of differences between the show and the books, especially in recent seasons. Since there's not enough time in this video to go through every change they've made, I've gone and found the 10 craziest differences between the Game of Thrones TV show and the books. There will obviously be spoilers, so don't watch this video if you're not fully caught up. Number 10. Lady Stoneheart. So the last time we saw Catelyn Stark, she wasn't having the best of days. Cat unfortunately witnesses her firstborn son being stabbed to death and then gets her throat sliced open by Black Walder. In the show, that's pretty much the end of the road for her. However, in the books, Catelyn is resurrected by Lord Beric Dondarrion, who gives his life for hers through the rite known as the Last Kiss. Catelyn's wounds only partially heal, however, leaving her mutilated and without the ability to speak. She becomes consumed with a desire for vengeance over her family's betrayal and murder. Cat thereby becomes known as Lady Stoneheart and assumes command of the Brotherhood Without Banners. While leading the Brotherhood, Stoneheart's outlaws come upon a small party led by Brienne of Tarth, who informs her that she is searching for Sansa at the behest of Jaime Lannister. Stoneheart says that Brienne has turned traitor, as she carries Oathkeeper, a Lannister sword forged from the Stark Valyrian steel blade Ice. Brienne swears she is still faithful, but Stoneheart insists that she must prove it and says, "Take the sword and slay the Kingslayer, or be hanged for a betrayer." Brienne refuses, but just before she, Hal Hunt, and Podrick Payne are to be executed, she shouts out "sword," thereby saving their lives. Number 9. Mance Rayder. Mance Rayder's death in the series is exactly as it is in the books, except in the books, he doesn't really die. Having been burnt at the stake and put out of his misery by the mercy of Jon Snow's arrow, it later emerges in the books that the victim was not Mance Rayder at all, but rather the wildling general Rattleshirt, whom Melisandre had used magic to disguise. Mance Rayder is then instrumental in Theon's escape from the Boltons at Winterfell. Later, it is reported in a letter to Jon, purportedly from Ramsay Bolton, that Mance has been captured. Ramsay claims that Mance has been thrown in a cage which is exposed to the elements, and that the 6 spearwives that came with him have been killed and skinned. Mance is allegedly being forced to use their sewed together skins in the cage as his only source of warmth. Number 8. Ramsay and Sansa. This is one of the most obvious and certainly one of the most controversial changes from the books. In George R.R. Martin's version of events, the Lannisters pass off a Stark family friend, Jane Poole, to the Boltons as collateral for an important alliance, convincing the Boltons that Jane is actually Arya. In HBO's Game of Thrones, the only time we ever see Jane is in the series premiere. Instead, Sansa herself marries Ramsay Bolton in Season 5 as a way for Littlefinger to increase his power. Keeping with the theme of the novels, in which Ramsay holds Jane hostage and relentlessly tortures her, in the show he rapes Sansa while Theon watches on in horror. Number 7. Ramsay is way worse in the books. So I think we can all agree Ramsay was a very bad dude. He flayed his victims, murdered Roose Bolton, fed Walda and her baby to his dogs, and chopped off Theon's dick. I mean, that's pretty much the worst thing that can ever happen to a man. If your little buddy ever gets detached from your body, it's game over. Period. But despite all these things, the book version of Ramsay Bolton is an even crueler and more frightening character. In the books, Ramsay kills all of Roose Bolton's sons because they were a threat to him becoming the heir to House Bolton. He also rapes, flays, and kills the woman he hunts. If they were a good sport about it, he would flay them after they were already dead, but if they didn't give him much sport, he obviously flayed them alive. If that's not enough, the book version of Ramsay forces his wife, Jane Poole, to have sex with his dogs. Just imagine if they put that one in the show. All I know is Sansa got off real fucking easy. And finally, in addition to mutilating Theon's dick, Ramsay also cut off 4 of his toes and 3 of his fingers. Just fucking brutal. Number 6. Jojen Reed. Jojen Reed met his end on the show when a very sneaky wight stabbed him multiple times in the chest. Mira mercifully cuts his throat, and a child of the forest destroys Jojen's body to prevent any reanimation. In A Dance with Dragons, Jojen Reed survives the white attack and meets the Three-Eyed Crow, but soon after, Jojen falls into a depressed state and wants to go home to Greywater Watch. In a conversation with Bran, Mira implies that Jojen has had a green dream of his fate when he returns home. Supposedly, green dreams do not lie, and Jojen's return home means almost certain death. Number 5. Aegon Targaryen. One of the most surprising developments in A Dance with Dragons was the reveal that Aegon Targaryen was still alive. Supposedly dashed against a wall by the mountain as a baby, Aegon was secretly whisked away by Varys and placed in the hands of several trusted allies to educate him in the ways of the world, and to prepare him to reclaim the throne for House Targaryen. Not only does the presence of another Targaryen further muddy the line of succession to the Iron Throne, it also gives us a proper answer as to just what Varys and his schemes have been for all this time. It seems like it may have been one development too far for the show though, as there's no indication of the series covering it. Number 4. Shireen. This tragic sequence was one of the most buzzed about moments of Season 5, both because of the depravity of the moment, and because it's just something that hasn't happened in the books, yet. Stannis Baratheon's daughter Shireen was, in so many ways, a rare symbol of light and goodness in the Game of Thrones world. So it was especially cruel when he chose to take heed of Melisandre's warning and sacrifice her to increase his power. He burned his own daughter alive and stood by as she screamed and begged for her life. How heartless can you get? Nothing like this moment has happened in Martin's Westeros, which has fans speculating as to whether the show just released a major spoiler for future books. Number 3. Jorah Mormont. Just as in the show, Jorah is a spy for the Lannisters who was told that providing information on her whereabouts would end his exile. However, he falls in love with Daenerys, asks for her hand, and attempts to kiss her in the books. Each time she puts him off. When she learns of his betrayal, she sends him on a dangerous mission to Meereen that he survives. Daenerys is ready to forgive Jorah's espionage, but she exiles him for undermining her leadership. Like in the show, Jorah encounters Tyrion and attempts to bring him back to Daenerys to get back in her good graces. But during the journey to Meereen, they are captured and ultimately end up with the Second Sons. One final important thing to note is that there is no indication of Jorah being infected with grayscale in the books. Number 2. Tyrion's journey to Meereen. In the books, when Tyrion flees King's Landing after killing his father, he doesn't leave with Varys. He recuperates with Illyrio Mopatis as seen in the show, but he sets off for Meereen not with Varys, but with a set of traveling companions that include two named Griff and Young Griff. He later finds out that Young Griff is actually Aegon Targaryen, son of Rhaegar Targaryen, which makes him Daenerys' nephew. Tyrion convinces him to turn away from Daenerys and lead an attack with his small army on Westeros, which is a tactic Aegon later adopts, heading for the Stormlands. Number 1. Bronn. As the seasons have progressed, Bronn has become somewhat of a main character in the show. After saving Tyrion's life in the trial by combat, Bronn marries Lolly Stokeworth in an attempt to eventually inherit Castle Stokeworth. But his plans of becoming a nobleman are cut short when Jaime arrives and basically forces Bronn to help him retrieve Myrcella. This is where the show and the books differ. In the books, Bronn never gets a visit from Jaime enlisting his help. Instead, Lady Tonda Stokeworth informs Cersei that Bronn has named his wife Lolly's bastard son Tyrion, in dubious honor of his former employer. Bronn soon takes 4 knights into his household, although Sir Balman Birch tells Cersei that they are up-jumped sellswords, with not a thimbleful of chivalry to be found amongst the 4 of them. This leads Queen Cersei to fear that he is still in league with Tyrion, and causes Cersei to conspire with Bronn's good sister False Stokeworth and her husband Balman to have Bronn killed. Sir Balman then challenges Bronn to a duel, but Bronn kills Balman using dirty tactics. Claiming to be Lord Stokeworth, he expels Lady False from Castle Stokeworth. After the death of False at the hands of Qyburn, Lollys becomes the official Lady of Stokeworth, with Bronn as their lord. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned some interesting new things about the differences between the Game of Thrones books and the show. Please leave a like, please subscribe, and leave a comment telling me if you want a part 2 to this video, as I couldn't fit all the differences in this short time frame. Alright, peace!
Oh man, okay. Anyways, let's see how much time we got left in the screen recording. Too much we got enough. Yeah, just another minute. But yeah, so yeah, that was interesting. Oh man, it's crazy how things can be different compared from the shows or the books or whatever. But yeah, so anyways, but yeah, it just turns out freaking Game of Thrones is just really just one of those shows. It takes back way back when, so, and you can only imagine way back when things were a lot colder, like a lot of cold-hearted people like today didn't give a fuck, so. Yeah. Alright, so I'm not sure what else we want to do here. I'm just kind of here. Let's go according to what's done. Yeah. Alright.
You're going to fight that?
This is season 4.
I'm going to kill that.
Episode 4, season 8. Can't remember.
He's the biggest man I've ever seen.
Size does not matter when you are flat on your back.
Thank the gods.
In the sight of gods and men, we gather to ascertain the guilt or innocence of this man, Tyrion Lannister. May the mother grant them mercy. May the father give them such justice as they deserve. And may the warrior guide the hand of our champion.
Don't leave me alone in this world.
Never.
Seems pretty confident.
Have they told you who I am?
Some dead man.
I am the brother of Elia Martell. And you know why I've come all the way to this stinking shit pile of a city? For you? I'm going to hear you confess before you die. You raped my sister. You murdered her. You killed her children. Say it now and we can make this quick.
Damn.
Say it. You raped her? You murdered her? You killed her children. You raped her! You murdered her! You killed her children!
Yeah. God damn.
Raped her! You murdered her! You killed her children!
God damn.
You're dying. No, you can't die yet. You haven't confessed. Say it. Say her name. Elia Martell. You raped her. You killed her children. Elia Martell. Who gave you the order? Who gave you the order? Say her name! You raped her! You murdered her! You killed her children! Say it. Say her name. Say it!
Elia Martell. I killed her children. Then I raped her. Then I smashed her head into the fish.
God damn! What a fucking plot twist.
Gods have made their will
Holy
known.
shit.
Tyrion Lannister. In the name of King Tommen of the House Baratheon, first of his name, you're hereby sentenced to death.
God fuck? Whew. God damn, I need to see the comments after that shit. Hold on. Oh my god, that was an experience. Okay, well, the fact that the next big hit is a show where he almost never takes his indestructible helmet off. No Red Wedding, no Purple Wedding, no Jon Snow's death. This was the most shocking piece of all for me. The swirl of emotion, I can't even tell. Oof, that happened like so quick too, like goddamn. Just realized the moment he lost when he actually looked up in excitement and locked eyes with his wife. Even circling around the mountain was keeping his eyes on him. That one split second of look, we're finally here, my sister will be avenged, was all it took for his life to slip away. So tragic. Oh man, moral of the story, don't take your eyes off the mountain or the mountain will take the eyes off you. Well, not only that, you can never take your eyes off your opponent. Like, even in anything, either like, if it's like MMA, you know, or just anything so that involves fighting, never take your eyes off that you're standing across with. You never take your eyes off. And that's what I was thinking in my head too, like, you got to be too confident, you keep looking at the people and shit like that. And you keep your eye off the prize, and like his head smashed in, like, fucking, Okay, my opinion, this is the most unexpected shocking scene in the entire show. I mean, I haven't watched the show, but goddamn, I would believe that. 8 years later, and I still can't finish watching this scene in its eternity. I love how even Jamie is legitimately surprised and impressed how good Abram is. I loved Abram. He was kind, honorable, and a great father in person. He was extremely intelligent and was an incredible fighter. Sadly, in the Game of Thrones world, those qualities only ensure one's death. I was very sad when I saw his fate and horrified, but mostly due to not being able to see him on screen anymore. And the whole skull being crushed thing. Yeah, what the fuck. Ironically, the Viper had a classic bad guy death, talking and gloating when he should have been off his opponent. This was beyond a shadow of a doubt one of the most horrific death scenes of the show. With that being said, the little Barathon girl being burned alive has to be second. Hearing her screaming while being roasted is not easily forgettable. Ugh, can't imagine. Kelly is just as much a monster as Mountain. The fact that he could watch all that transpire and not even flinch, and the fact he gave Gregory the order to kill Elia and Martell and her children just shows shows much a monster he is too. Abram's steel with spear was the most unique I have ever seen. Dude is seriously a class warrior. Today is not the day I died, Abram Martell. The day he died. Oh my god. Okay. Again, he loves his sister and nephew so much. All that anger blended with when he finally had their killer. So sad he got careless last second. He was level-headed enough to win easily, but got more emotional as the fight went on with his death. Gives me goosebumps every time. What hurts the most about this is that not only did we saw and knew how well it started, we also saw and knew how badly this was going to end. Abram is legitimately one of the most dynamic characters ever. What a fighter he was. I remember perfectly how I reacted to this like 6 years ago. It was so awesome to see the Viper dominate the mountain and outmaneuver him with ease, but the second Oberyn didn't kill him immediately, he wanted him to confess. I felt uneasy. I'm such a calm person, but when he got grabbed, I had to smash my fist on the table in anger and disbelief. It's crazy how like people like get like so emotionally connected to like shows like this. What an awesome shocking scene. Love the scream of shock and terror from his lady friend. She did a great job portraying it. After all these years, this is the most heartbreaking brutal death. I still watch it screaming in my head. Step back, just kill him. Okay, that's the scene that struck me the most in the whole series. Not for the unexpected end and the gore, there are plenty in the show, but the shot of despair of his beloved one, seeing him being crushed apart when we fight, we risk our own life, but also the destiny of our loved ones. That's a very meaningful comment right there, and we'll end off on that, and I'll put in the comments on that. So, but yeah, I feel like I kind of need a freaking second after watching that. God damn. I don't think I've ever seen something like that before. God damn.